Apple's Wanderlust event. This is MacVoices. Today's edition of MacVoices is supported by the MacVoices Dispatch, our weekly newsletter that keeps you up with everything MacVoices is doing. From our published episodes to Chuck's other appearances to special events and more, subscribe at macvoices.com/newsletter and stay fully informed so you don't miss a thing. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, it's Tuesday night. It's only hours after the Apple event. We are live in YouTube at youtube.com/MacVoicesTV. We wish you were here because we have people coming in. They've been coming in the last few minutes. I hope there will be more coming. That's where they can throw in their comments and reactions to our commentary, and then we get to comment back at them. So you could be engaged in that. And if not, if you're hearing this after the fact, this will probably be cut up into different episodes. I also plan, in order to get this out a little bit more expediently than usual, I probably will forego some of the usual editing. So it'll just be a lot more of this whole group shot. And boy, do we have a group shot.
Yes, we do.
So let's run around this and find out who all's here, and then we'll get to it. So first up, as he always is, sitting up there, David Ginsburg, wearing an Apple shirt. David, good to see you.
Good to be here, Chuck. What a great crowd we got tonight. This is going to be a lot of fun. Like you said, just hours off the Apple event. We did a podcast earlier today and had some fun. And now we got to talk. We got all this information absorbed. It's going to take us time to decipher through it all. But good to be here.
Not sure we've all absorbed it, David, but we'll find out.
It's hours. Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, staying up very late where she is to join us, Patrice Brend'Amour. Patrice, I had no idea you were coming. It was great to see you pop in.
I wanted to make it a surprise. Yeah, I'm off this week, so I decided to join. It's like 2:08 a.m. So not too late.
Ouch. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what better reason to stay up than this group.
Yeah,
or at least some of this group. I'm not sorry. Yeah. Jim Rea is here as well, looking like he's inside the Apple building, one of the Apple buildings. Jim, good to have you. You're muted, Jim.
Jim is muted.
You're still muted, Jim.
I'm just trying to be a good citizen here.
Oh, appreciate that.
Why start now?
The first of the ties tonight, Brian Flanigan-Arthurs is here. Brian, welcome. It's good to see you.
Thank you. So good to see you too, and looking forward to chatting about the great products we saw today.
Absolutely, absolutely. Webb Bixby is here, sporting the quilt.
The quilt.
Yes, the quilt. Webb, good to have you as always.
Chuck, good to be here.
Eric Bolden this time is I don't know what those animals are in the background. Eric, what do you have this time?
Sandhill cranes.
Sandhill cranes.
It's raining outside. It's been foggy for the last couple of days. Sandhill cranes are parked in all the nearby fields, so I thought, why not?
Is that any relation to Sandhill Road?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Okay.
What the Sam Hill is going on?
Jeff Gamet is here. Jeff, thank you so much for being here. I hear that you did another podcast already today.
I did. I was lucky enough to get to spend the afternoon with Dave Hamilton on Mac Geek Gab, and we had an awesome time.
Oh, that's great. I'm sorry I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, but I will go enjoy it.
Well, there's a possibility that we have additional crossover because at some point during the show, I did mention that I'd be here tonight. So maybe we have some at Geek Gab people that haven't watched before. And if so, hi, everyone.
Yeah, great. Welcome. Make it a habit. Mark Fuccio's here. And I'm not sure if he's promoting the iPhone or if he's promoting the new Godzilla series on Apple TV because there's an animal behind him.
Oh, this is a photo I lifted out of Apple today. So it's Yeah, they were talking about their iPhone 15 Pro Max, and all its great lens things, which we'll get into. And they had this really compelling image of an iguana, which I've seen in travels to Costa Rica and other places. So I figured that's an appropriate background.
Okay. I like it. I like it. Kelly Guimont is here, and she doesn't have a lizard behind her.
What have you heard? No, I don't.
Ways to go with that.
I really wasn't sure where to go with that. So yeah, I just I'm really glad to be here to hang out with everybody, whether they have chamfered edges or not.
Had to bring that up. Ben Roethig has joined us also in a tie. I'm feeling a bit underdressed, Ben.
I like to make people feel that way, Chuck.
That's one of your intimidations?
Nah, I just want to be Webb when I grow up.
Webb, I think Ben is fishing for a job. I'm not sure. You two can talk offline.
Yeah, okay. I'll wear a tie next Tuesday because next Tuesday exec committee day. So.
Okay, great. So, last but not least, Mr. Guy Serle. Guy, good to have you as always.
Thank you. I actually am wearing a tie, but I have it digitally removed.
And the dress shirt as well, Guy?
Yes.
That's
Actually, from the neck up is me. Everything below is,
question. You're not going to believe what I had digitally removed before the show.
I had visions of Guy telling us where his tie was tied, and it's like, no, I don't want to go there.
Don't do that.
No, that's been chemical.
Save it for after dark, Joiner.
But all I can say is
now I want to know.
Apple may have gotten rid of leather, but there's plenty of leather here.
Did it just get hot in here?
It did. It really did.
Oh, man.
Here we go.
God,
here we go.
Tonelli song.
Here we go. So where do we start, guys? I guess we start with the Apple Watch. That seemed to be where Apple started pretty much. And that's one of the things I think that we are all interested in. Can I have a show of hands? Has anybody ordered an Apple Watch already? I see one hand.
Dave ordered 5.
No,
Dave
just
He ordered 5.
Okay, so Dave, let's start out with you. What did you find so compelling about the new watch?
I'm using the Series 7 right now, so it's been I was intrigued of it anyway. I think I was planning on it because it was time. It's time to upgrade. I know with the biggest thing they were showing was the fact of being able to do the touch changing, with the accessibility.
Gestures, yeah.
Gestures, that's it. Thank you. I don't know if that was part of the accessibility that you could already do that, but it seems like this was a new feature, part of Watch OS 10 as well as the Series 9. So that was one of the things that intrigued me, it was time because this one's 2 years old now, and I was pretty cool with it. The processor seemed to be a cool thing as far as its speed. The colors are good. I'm going because the 8 didn't even have the midnight, which I like. That's the color of the 7 I currently sport, and I of course went with the same color now with the new one. And then of course the bands are all they're no more leather, and they're all carbon neutral and all that fun stuff. So I have so many bands. I just pick one. Honestly, so I picked the one that wasn't going to raise the price. So that blue one, the blue one that they were showing with the. It was perfectly fine for me. So it was very easy to order. It's pre-ordered today, and then it's going to ship on the 22nd of September.
Okay. So maybe then I guess why, I don't want to say why didn't you order one, but is anybody else really interested or is thinking about it? Because that's what the category I'm in. I want to do a little more research, and I need to find out if, especially the double tap feature, which I think is potentially very useful. I'm not clear as to whether that's just part of the Series 9, or if that is part of
WatchOS.
WatchOS, and will, because I have a 7, so I'm not sure that it would go back 2 generations anyway. But I've got to find that out before I place any orders.
I thought about it, but I'm on a 7 as well, and I basically had to update from a 4 because the glass broke on my 4, and it was going to cost me about $250 to replace the glass, whereas a refurb Series 7 was also about $250, and that was kind of a no brainer. And I am interested, but there's just not enough new there for me to spend, and I'd be looking at an Ultra for me to spend the $800. So I'm gonna wait another year and we'll see how it goes.
One thing I did forget to mention, they did double the storage on the Series 9. It's now 64 gigabytes. It was 32. So that was kind of a cool thing.
Mark?
Yeah, I think on the gesture, the double tap, that's going to be only on the iPhone 9. They talked about it, being enabled by their new SIP9 processor chip, and it's vastly improved, a neural learning engine. And I confirmed that by reading the press release on Apple's site about the Gen 9 Apple Watch. So it looks like it will be a very useful feature, and that may be the catalyst to upgrade for many people, or maybe not.
Yeah. Patrice?
I thought about it for a hot second, and I mean, there were kind of 2 reasons. One was I wanted the new watch bands, the new woven thing. The second reason is really pink. Like
I was gonna say
last year there was none. Last year there was none, and I was so upset about it. And this year there is one. I didn't order, and I have an 8, so I'm like, is there much of a difference between an 8 and 9? Not enough for it to just to order one just because.
I think
so.
That seems like the theme for all of what we got today was they've announced a new version of a thing. And if you have the one that was the current version as of 9:00 this morning, then you may not be interested. But if you have the one before that or anything older, then there may be some compelling thing in it for you that makes it something that you want to get into. The reason I'm not getting one is because I think I'm going to get a phone, and I can really only get one thing a year because I do not live an unlimited Apple product lifestyle. So,
I don't either.
Because I live in this stupid timeline where I have the paycheck I have, and then I have all the stuff I want, and they're wildly out of proportion with each other. So like I get one thing. I have a Series 7 watch. I like it very much. And I don't really have any complaints about it. So the things that were interesting in it were interesting, but I didn't see anything that made me go, "Ooh!" Same as the Ultra 2. Like I wasn't interested in upgrading to the Apple Watch Ultra either, even though we got a new version, and I think the new version is pretty awesome. It's a super great product. It's just not a product for me, and that doesn't mean it's not for anybody. But I'm clearly not the person for the Apple Watch Ultra, so. It was really cool to see it get announced, but I'm not the person for it. But also for the double tap, there's an accessibility gesture that you can do now. I think the gesture on the 9 will do more things because you can configure it a little more specifically with a wider variety of activities that it will do for you. But it's an accessibility feature that I know we talked about on Daily Observations back in the day. I think Jeff and I actually talked about it when they released it for one of the earlier iterations of Apple Watch, because I remember talking to Jeff about it on a podcast, so I know it's not completely new. But it was an accessibility feature, and I think it only limited you to a certain number of things, sort of like back tap on your phone used to only have like a couple of things that it did, and then they continued to add to it. So I want to talk more about the phones. The watches were cool to see, and I'm glad to see them evolve, but I don't have a compelling reason to upgrade from the one I have.
I think precision finding is what I'm looking for. The numbers of times that I've lost my phone in theory within sight of me, but then can't find it again. And, I can press the button on my watch and it will make a sound. So I know I'm in the right room, but then I can't find it. So I'm really looking forward to that, but it sounds almost like I might have to get a new phone also. So an Apple Watch Ultra and a new phone, I'm not totally sure. I want to see some, I'll have to wait a tiny bit. What was their phrase they kept using? Later this year.
Later this year.
Yeah.
I just want to jump in and tell people because this is a thing I get reminded of occasionally that is super amazing. And that is when you tap the button for your phone, when you're on your Apple Watch, when you tap it, your phone will make noise. But if you tap and hold on it, it will make noise and the light will flash. So say you have a phone in a black case and you set it down in a black car and it's a dark night and you can't find your phone. This is how you can do that. Ask me how I know.
Interesting. Ben?
I'm seriously considering a Ultra 2. I was very interested in the Ultra last year, but being on a 7, I thought it was a little bit too soon. But all the features, the insanely bright screen, and the new SIP are maybe enough to get me to switch.
You have an Ultra now, Ben?
I have a Series 7.
You have 7. Okay. So you would go from a 7 to the Ultra.
Yeah. I liked going from the Series 3 to the 7 made me like the larger screen. And I think I'd like the even larger screen on the Ultra even more.
Okay.
I might eventually go from a Series 4 to an Ultra.
Is it also for screen acreage?
Just the whole thing. Screen acreage, long battery.
I'm still going to have to
green acreage is the place for you.
Thank you, Guy. I knew you'd come through for me.
I was waiting for that one.
I left it out there for someone. Thank you, Guy.
I didn't even see it coming.
How could you not?
My mind doesn't work that way, and boy, am I glad it doesn't. Yeah, so, sorry, that took me out of it a little bit. So, Jeff, I think you were next.
Okay. On upgrading to a 9, the super bright screen, because I live in Colorado where it's always super bright and we have lots of glare, plus the tap gestures, the new tap gestures. If I didn't have an 8, those are the things that would get me to upgrade. But I'm going to hold off. Now, Guy, you had mentioned you were kind of thinking about the Ultra, but maybe next year. And Ben, you're thinking, hey, this might be the year. So here's my take for both of you. Ben, if you like the features, get it. And I think you're going to love the watch. Guy, yes. If you're waffling, you should wait, because if Apple does another watch next year, I think you're going to get, instead of the dual band GPS, you'll get the tri-band GPS. Now, as someone that's done a lot of GPS stuff, here's how this works, and I'll try to be super fast with it. One GPS a signal acquisition, like we get on the original Ultra, that means that your watch is tracking the motion of a single satellite and using the position change based on the satellite moving to locate your position. With the dual GPS system in Ultra 2, that means there's 2 satellites, so it can acquire your position substantially faster and with more accuracy. Now, Next year, if we get a 3 satellite system, that means your position acquisition is even faster and more accurate. And because it's 3 satellites, now it can do GPS altitude.
That's true.
Okay. Webb, where are you on this?
A lot of what David said, I have it at a 7, couple 3 years old, so it's just ready to upgrade. I'm going to go to the Ultra just because I want to have the bigger screen. The battery life is important to me too. One thing that I won't do is that I cannot sleep with the watch on. Don't ask me why. That's just my thing. So
I'm the same.
So I'm not going to be monitoring my sleep patterns and all that unless my doctor tells me I have to. But so I always put my watch and my phone too on a charger at night and just sleep away. So I'm upgrading to an Ultra 2. I made the comment in the Slack chat this afternoon that I'm going to ask Santa Claus for it. So, and we'll see if Santa Claus coordinates with my secret agent to get it for me. So,
I think the only person we haven't heard from here is Brian. Before we move on, Brian, you in the market?
Well, with the watch, I have a Series 6. I'm pretty happy with it. The battery life is starting to go a little bit. I'm finding that I'm charging it, in the middle of the day as well as in the evening. But I'm not necessarily compelled yet to pick up the new Series 9. Maybe. I'm definitely for sure on the fence about it. I think enough time has passed where there's a lot of new features to be able to take advantage of, but I'm just not 100% on it yet.
Interesting. I'm a little surprised that I didn't hear anybody say anything about Siri on the watch as being a reason that they might want to upgrade.
It's nice to see that they're doing some improvements on Siri, but I think Siri still has a little bit of ways to go. I would think many on the panel probably feel that way too.
Okay,
like that it's on device, and I'm impressed that they're able to start letting the watch do more processing, because it means the watch is hopefully also getting more independent and a little less reliant on having an iPhone things, as a resident home hub device, so to speak. But I'm glad to see that they're doing that. But for me personally, that's not a compelling reason to upgrade. Honestly, the most reliable place that I can talk to the S lady is on my arm already. So I don't have any complaints about it.
For me, anything they say about Siri, my ears just stop listening, just like Siri does.
I have a hypothesis about on-device Siri, and so we're seeing hardware that is each year incrementally more capable of doing more with on-device Siri. And at the same time, we're looking at Siri being a voice service that, compared to the other offerings on the market, seems to be getting farther and farther behind in its capabilities, even knowing that the purpose that Apple has intended for Siri is not exactly the same as, say, what Google and Amazon are doing with their services. Here's where I think this is taking us: more on-device horsepower for Siri, plus a lot of stuff that they are rumored to be working on behind the scenes. Means to me that Apple is beefing up the hardware so that when they're ready to drop the new improved Siri on us, we have the devices that are capable of running what this is. And this will be a voice control platform that does more than catches up with what's on the market, but leaps ahead.
Well, won't that be one of the main interaction mechanisms with the Vision Pro? So you're really going to need it to up its game if you can't if you're going to interact with it with your voice a lot of the time, right?
Yes. However, This, I believe, will be a friction point for early Vision Pro users, because Vision Pro is going to be out, I think, before the Super Siri is ready to roll out for us.
Oh, for sure. Wasn't that an old ABBA song? Super Siri.
Yeah.
Okay.
You should hear me do that at karaoke.
I would like to.
Ooh, okay. Boy, that one. Thanks, Jeff. You just ran me right off the cliff on that one.
Once again,
I think it is interesting. But there was one other thing I wanted to ask this group before we leave this part of the watch discussion. Has anybody's feelings about cellular versus GPS only? Anybody changed their thoughts on that? Or excuse me, GPS on cellular. Pardon me. Cellular versus the connectivity. Would you buy the cellular? Did you buy the cellular, David?
No, this time I didn't. Well, last time I did because that's all they had available at the time, and I didn't want to wait. But this time I made sure I got the GPS. Yeah, I never use it. I never used it. I don't want to activate it. I mean, I don't want to pay an extra $10 or $15 a month for something on the phone where I can just, because I always have my iPhone on me. There's just no point for me anyway.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me,
go ahead, Ben. Sorry.
For me, the cellular part wasn't exactly ever reliable.
That too.
Yeah, that's true.
And I can tell you, I used the cellular function of my Apple Watch tonight before I came on to the show so it's. I'm going to do it when I get my new watch. But yeah, I can see why people don't want to get it. I will, but I can see why it's
all
not
about
that
your
compelling.
use case.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Since I never lose my house, since I never leave my house without my phone, it's no use for me.
Webb, do you mind telling us which carrier you have?
AT&T.
You have AT&T, and
actually, remember I have two phones, so AT&T and T-Mobile. So
well, that's just so. Is your watch on the T-Mobile or the AT&T line?
It's the watch is on AT&T.
Okay. And you say you've used it. I mean, in other words, you were away from your iPhone using your watch and you found the performance good, acceptable?
Performance was acceptable. It was just the situation I was in at that very moment. I couldn't get to my phone, even though it was in my pocket. Okay. I had my hands full. Now the other thing is that I get to do this on the new phone. I get to do the hand tap. So yeah.
That'd be interesting. That's interesting. So I wonder if you'd be able to answer the phone that way with one hand.
They showed that.
But
I think they showed it in the video.
They did show it.
Okay.
But you could do that even if you didn't have a cellular watch.
Right.
If your phone was in your pocket, you could have answered that call anyway.
Granted.
I
have done that.
I did activate my watch, the cellular, because I was going to do some kayaking. So I was like, I can't take my phone. I'm kayaking, and I wanted to have the connectivity. So I did activate it for that.
And that totally makes sense.
Jeff, you had said that Mint Mobile users can't do cellular on the watch.
Right. Mint Mobile does not support cellular on non-phone devices. So no smartwatches, no tablets. It's just for phones.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of MVNOs are like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm hoping that changes after T-Mobile officially owns them.
Same.
I have a feeling that this is not a limitation of the MVNO. It's a limitation on Apple's side, because I see that here in Europe as well. Like the big companies support it and none of the smaller ones do. And I don't think it's a money thing. I don't think it's a okay, they can't support it. I think Apple just doesn't partner with them on it.
But why wouldn't they, Patrice? I mean, it's sort of free money it's free money for Apple to buy a higher level watch, and it's free money for the carriers because, like it or not, which I don't, they get to charge for another line.
Probably because the two people working on it are overwhelmed with working on it.
That would explain a lot.
I don't know what the reason really is. It's just an observation that it's
Yeah. Eric, you're talking about the flashlight boost in the Ultra 2, which is something I missed during the presentation and just read about it later.
Yeah, you're supposed to be able to double the brightness of the flashlight by turning the digital crown. And from the Ultra, I mean, the Ultra is already bright. Mm-hmm. So if it's double that, I don't know. It's already almost too bright for me, but then it'd be bright enough for two people to see on the path instead of just one. So.
Didn't they say
or to send a
3,000 nits?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, isn't everything brighter now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or
across the board.
Or to send us like a signal when you're like out and about somewhere. Mm-hmm. That might make a difference.
To aliens.
Well,
or
yeah.
Morse
Now that it's so much brighter, you could totally see it from space.
Mm-hmm.
When Jim flips over in the whitewater raft, he'll be able to see what's on the bottom of the screen.
Hey, it's my phone.
It was Newport Bay. No whitewater.
Oh, okay. So about 10 minutes ago, we were going to shift this, and then we sort of kept on going. So, but maybe I missed this completely. What is the secret AirPods upgrade?
Well, it's not so secret because Apple actually put out a press release. It's just never like it's not a new AirPod Pro generation. It's still second generation.
Right.
They just did a slight upgrade to the AirPods Pro. So one, you get the USB-C case. I think that's obvious, but because we saw that also in the presentation. But they improved the dust resistance, and that is quite important and interesting. They're adding a lossless audio setup or audio capability for the Vision Pro. So it's not for your iPhone. I don't know why. Wow. It's only for your Vision Pro.
But also, there was not a peep about this in the presentation. In the event, I don't know that anyone even ever said the words AirPods Pro. We didn't hear anything about them. That's why I said it was secret, because there's a press release on the Apple News site that came out the same time as all the rest of them. Here's the new phone. Here's the new watch. macOS is coming. And by the way, USB-C AirPods Pro case. Bye. Yeah,
but it's not just the case. The case they showed in the presentation, you saw it. Like when they talked about accessories, you saw it. Mm-hmm. So we know about the case, but they actually upgraded the AirPods Pro that come with it, and you cannot buy the case separately.
Yeah, right. It's a secret thing. So
Well,
now, so on Mac Geek Gab, on Mac Geek Gab, one of the listeners was saying that they found it as an $89 separate purchase, and I haven't been able to find that. So what I'm hoping is that they give the info to Dave so that we can all find it.
I don't see it. I don't see it in the show notes. I'm looking at.
Are you saying there was somebody from Apple on Mac Geek Gab?
No, one of the Mac Geek Gab fans. They said they found it as an $89 purchase.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, found what, Jeff? The case?
The USB-C AirPods Pro 2 case.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Look, if it's not there now, it's going to be. So I'm not sure how urgently you need a USB-C case, but that they're going to bring that out as a separate product.
Because they had it for the first gen of the regular AirPods.
You could probably charge the old case from the new phone by using a USB-C to Lightning cable.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and that is something new that now, as I understand it, the phone can charge as well as be charged.
What's new is it has USB-C. I mean, USB-C, that's the way it works. Things can charge each other. USB-C is like that, right? What USB-C device can't charge something else?
Good point. Before we move to the phone, I would like to just ask the panel for their reactions to all the time spent on the green initiatives.
I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Too much time.
I live in Portland. I'm legally obligated to appreciate it. No, but I thought it was great. I liked where they were going. I don't know on a global scale how much difference it will realistically make that they aren't making cases and watch bands, because I don't know if Apple knows this, but there are other people who make cases for phones and cases for iPads and bands for watches. And I don't know if any of them are going to slow down. So I want to think that it's going to make a difference. It's not going to drop by half or anything like that. Like, I have no illusions about Apple being that kind of consumer of leather, but I appreciate that they're doing it. And I'm curious to see what these things are going to be like once we can get our hands on them. I'm curious to see, how they feel, how they look, how they wear.
It'll be worth it as long as one Naga is saved.
The only difference it will make is that Apple can claim they're net zero because they don't have leather in their portfolio. That's the only difference. Because someone else, like, if you want to buy one, you're just going to buy one. So someone else is going to make it.
Yeah. But I like the idea that, because they're a global company. I assume there's, I don't know how high the percentage, but it's some percentage that that they were using in the manufacture of this that isn't going to happen anymore. So cool. If they've got something better, then rock and roll. Maybe they've just evolved past Nagas in the first place and, doing something else. Thank you, Guy. I appreciate it.
Save the Nagas.
I think that was an audience of one, but yes, that audience was me, and I'm here for it. So
I got it. I was trying to ignore it. Ben?
I totally applaud the environmentalism there, but I think it took maybe a little bit too much time to the point where it made the presentation drag a bit.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah, I agree.
But different people, different perspectives, and
right.
I thought it was interesting that they picked such a grumpy Mother Nature.
Oh, she was epic.
Wouldn't you be grumpy with everything going on?
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, fair point.
She has every right to be. I'm surprised she wasn't just channeling her inner Roy Kent. I mean, honestly.
That would have been a great Mother Nature too. Yeah. Chuck, the whole thing with the Mother Nature scene, sketch, whatever you want to call it, I thought that was done so well. And I've seen so many people on social media platforms totally bagging on it, but I thought it was done so well and it was entertaining. And people seem to forget that what Apple was doing today was a 90-minute commercial to highlight new products and then also to hype their own eco-friendly efforts. That sketch, though, I mean, it was done so well. Like getting Tim Cook to sit there and believably act incredibly nervous. Hi, I'm Tim Cook. It's great to meet you. I'm Tim Cook. It's great to meet you. I'm Tim Cook. It's great. I mean, that whole thing was great. How often do you get to see a CEO totally playing the nervous version of themselves? Right. But the whole thing, I just loved it. I thought it was done so well. And yay, Apple for their efforts.
The one part that really from Eddie Q's dad jokes, like we can all agree less Eddie Q cornball in the presentation is not necessarily a bad thing, right? This was a fun, different change of pace.
The one thing that cracked me up as I was watching that, because I did think it went on a little too long, was when I don't know what the woman's name was, but she pulled out this plant that was obviously wilted and was hiding it behind her back so that Mother Nature wouldn't see it. That did crack me up. As soon as I realized what the whole point of the sketch was, and here's this woman trying to hide the wilted plants, it was like, okay, that's funny.
Yeah, with a pocket full of dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our Mac Voices Live panel is back next time in part 2 of our discussion of Apple's Wanderlust event, and we'll see you there because you don't want to miss it. I'm Chuck Joyner. As always, thanks for watching.
Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.